Hey everyone, today I want to share with you some budget tips that may help if you're pregnant or expecting. Now, you know that I love to talk about budgets and how I save money on my grocery bills and get cheap groceries at Aldi and how I like to get stuff from the Dollar Tree. But in my previous video, I talked about my medical bill a little bit. $43,107.57. And luckily, I didn't have to pay all $43,000 of my hospital bill. I still paid $1,900 out of pocket for just that alone, being in the hospital. So I want to talk today about some of the budget tips, some of the things we did to prepare ourselves in advance, because even though $1,900 is a lot better than $43,000, it's still a good chunk of money, and getting ourselves in the best financial shape possible and thinking about these things definitely took a weight off our shoulders and gave us some peace of mind. So here we go, some budget tips if you're expecting. All right, the first tip I have is that you want to get organized. So you want to talk to your partner or think about it yourself if you want to take maternity time, paternity time. If you have leave available, you want to talk to someone in HR to decide if you can take some unpaid time, if you don't have paid time. Do you have sick leave you can use? Just trying to figure out, do you have access to short-term disability? All of these are questions that you want to ask yourself. You also want to ask yourself, how much money do we have in savings? Do we need to set up another savings account to pay for this medical bill? Do we have any idea what our out-of-pocket max and our deductibles are, so we know a general idea of what we should expect to save? Do we have a sinking fund, a separate account where we can just put some extra money in there to prepare for our medical bills? Do we have a fund to put extra money in for things we might need for our baby that we hadn't anticipated? So right now, the best thing to do is get organized. The second tip I have along those lines is that you want to get on a budget. Now, I've heard that it can take 2, 3, 4, maybe even 5 months to figure out what works for you. So you might set up a budget and it's like, oh gosh, wow, this totally didn't work and we didn't have enough money for groceries and I overspent here, but we didn't even buy stuff from that category. And you don't want to get discouraged. You just want to take it as a learning opportunity and to sort of help you reevaluate what's important, where you need a little bit more, where you might need a little less. And this is important because when you have your baby, you might find that your income changes. For us, it did. I was out of work for about 11 weeks and our income changed. So us preparing in advance and being on a budget really helped so that we weren't in a challenging situation during that time. The third tip is to start saving every penny that you can and think about which accounts that money is in. So for example, we had a savings account that we put extra money in for our medical bills, and we put money in there in case there were unexpected expenses that we needed to take care of after we got home, and maybe it would be really hard to find money for that because I was out of work for so many weeks. So having that was really important. Also, checking out our HSA accounts, which was just a lifesaver. We wound up paying our medical bills largely out of that, knowing what your login is. And I mean, it might not be something you really check that often, but what your login is, how much money you have in there, when you might get more money deposited from your employer, if that's a benefit that you have. So saving your money and just keeping it organized, knowing where it is, and having different buckets for different expenses is a great way to get organized too. Speaking of saving money, you want to have a sinking fund for those random items. So imagine you have a beautiful baby shower, your coworkers give you some nice gifts, and then maybe your family has a little shower for you and your friends have a shower, whatever the case may be. And you're thinking, wow, that was so beautiful. And then you have to go out and you have to get 50 stamps and 50 thank you notes. It might not seem like a lot of money, but if you're really trying to save every dollar, or you just totally forgot about the fact that you needed to buy thank you notes and stamps and you're already on a tight budget, those little things can start to add up. So if I were you, I would create a sinking fund. Again, I mentioned it earlier, but just for those extra expenses that you might not be able to anticipate right now. Speaking of registries, if you're fortunate enough to get some beautiful gifts and maybe some gift cards and cash, hold on to those things. Do not feel like you have to spend your gift cards or your money right away. Now, yes, of course, if you have had your shower and maybe you don't have a crib or a car seat, yes, you're gonna need those things. But I would say there might be things that you don't necessarily know that you need until you get home with your baby. So for example, we got home and Penny just like spit up all the time, and we were like, wow, these 6 burp cloths are just like not cutting it. And we just had to order like 2 more packs. And again, they're little things, but they add up in time. So instead of buying the rest of those like little knickknacks off your registry that you like may or may not need, maybe just like little cute things like washcloths that you thought were cute, if you save that money, it might come in handy later when you get home and you realize the items that you really do need. Also, I personally don't recommend registering for baby clothes unless there's something that you can't live without. So when I was at Target one day, I told my mom and sister, I was shopping with them, I'm like, I have to have these little pink fluffy baby slippers. And my sister was like, are you gonna use those? And I was like, no, of course I'm not gonna put slippers on my infant, but they're cute, and I would take one picture and probably literally that's all I did, right? And so I spent $7.99 on these stupid baby slippers, but they were so cute and I had to have them. Okay, fine. But besides the slippers and maybe 1 or 2 outfits, that was all I put on my registry, because people will buy clothes that they like, that they think are cute, that they see when they're out. So you're already probably gonna get a lot of clothing. So I would say, unless you are absolutely in love with something, try to put more of the practical items on your registry, and also maybe add a few clothing items that you love, but not too many. So many tips for your registry, but one other one. Think about items that might not be a material item that you might want. So for example, I am a huge fan of Kara from Taking Care of Babies, and she sells her sleep guide. So it was like week 2 or 3. We were just like hysterical, couldn't sleep, was really difficult, and I wanted to get one of her sleep guides, which actually wound up being incredible, and I'm so glad I got it. She has a few, and we bought the one that was for the first 12 weeks of sleep, and I'm so glad I did it. But at 4 o'clock in the morning, as I'm rocking Penny, I'm like, oh, I think it's like $75 worth every single penny. So if you're interested in sleep training, highly recommend Kara. But it's like, oh, $75 when I'm out of work, like, ooh. So think right now about if there are any food guides or sleep training guides or anything like that that you might be interested in, and either save a gift card for that or put some money into your sinking fund, or find a way to put that on your registry as well, just because that sort of item adds up as well. Return things. All right, hear me out. I know that sounds just like a tiny bit insensitive, but imagine that you get 2 of the same outfit packs, and you don't need them, or you know, maybe there's something that you know that you're not gonna use. It could even be something that you registered for and then you realize, like, I'm not gonna use this. So if you do that, if you return stuff, you're gonna have credit in a store for diapers, wipes, formula if you use it, other items that you think you're gonna need. So I definitely recommend going through the gifts that you got. And again, I know that that might sound mean. Of course, I'm never gonna return something sentimental that someone gave me, but like if I get 2 of the same Carter's onesies, well, why wouldn't I want to exchange something or return it for something that might be bigger and fit down the road? So when you review the things that you got, just be practical and consider exchanging or returning for other items that may benefit you down the road, or that might help you out with purchases later on. Speaking of diapers and formula, try different brands. Now, we use just like a very little bit of formula, but we use the Enfamil AR formula, and it was great. It's the name brand one. She had a lot of stomach, gosh, I wouldn't even say issues, just a lot of stomach unpleasantries at the beginning, and that worked for us, so I was not gonna experiment with that. And we didn't really use a lot of it, so it was okay, like financially we could afford to get it because we didn't use it enough that it was like we were just going through it super fast. On the other hand, diapers, we did try a bunch of different brands, and I'm a huge fan of Target diapers. Now, it's all personal preference, but the Target diapers are so much cheaper than any other brand of like the name brands like Huggies or Pampers. I mean, I think that at Target I did the math, and a Target diaper, depending on the quantity that you buy them in, was like 13 cents a diaper, and a Pampers was like 29 cents a diaper. So just checking around, using some off-brand items, that might be a way to save you a ton of money when you have your baby. Speaking of diapers, I don't know if someone's having a shower for you, if you can just straight up ask. I didn't ask for this, but when my friends, I had a family shower back home and a friend's shower here. And when my friends organized my shower here, they did a diaper raffle, which I didn't ask for, but oh my gosh, I was so grateful, because you go home with like boxes and boxes of diapers and wipes, and that stuff is so pricey. And I think we had diapers in the closet for like months. So I definitely, there's a way you can give a little like wink, wink, nudge, nudge, or if somebody says, hey, would you be interested in this? Yes, The answer is yes. Yes, you are interested in that because that was really helpful. Plus, people brought different brands and like the wipes had like the sensitive or the fragrance free. So you get to try a bunch of different things and see what works best for you. So definitely recommend a diaper raffle at your shower if that's an option. Check when you go shopping for off-season deals. So for my showers and baby gifts, people were very generous and I got so many clothes in like newborn, 3 to 6, 6 to 9, but then like things kind of taper off after that over those first few months. And so like by the time they turn 1 or they're getting close to those 12-month, 18, 24-month clothing, you're like, I don't really have anything. So now I have to start buying stuff. Okay, so I just went shopping last week. First of all, look how cute these are. I can't believe someone lives in my house that fits in these tiny little shorts. All right, so these are a 9-month size. She's like a little narrow. So she's in 12 months in some things, but shorts, she's still in smaller sizes. So anyway, it's gonna be hot in Florida for a little while. Got some shorts because they would be, you know, useful for us, but it's the end of summer. So a lot of this stuff is on sale. So these shorts were $1.74 each, which is amazing. So definitely look around, see what kind of deals you can find. I know sometimes it's hard to predict, like next season, will they be in 2T or 3T, or will they be in 18 months or 24 months? But if you can make a guess and you can find a way to grab a few items for $1, $2, $3, I definitely recommend doing that. Last one, check Facebook Marketplace or other parent groups that you might be part of for on sale or reduced toys or bouncers, swings, other things like that. Babies go through stuff so fast. Sometimes toys or clothes only last a month or 2 or 3, and people are constantly getting rid of things or selling them. So you might be able to find a really good deal on something that somebody only used for a month or 2. My sister is the queen of this. She is always getting penny stuff for like $5 or $10 that normally is like $35 or $40 on the Facebook Marketplace and in this mom group that she's in. So definitely check those things out because you can save a boatload and then you can resell it later to somebody else who might be able to find a good home for it. Thanks so much for listening. If you have any other additional tips that have helped you when you've been preparing to start your family, I'd love to hear them in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this, like, subscribe, and I hope to see you next time.